Welcome to Baba Baba channel. Today Marvel Hero Profile will take the profile and history of villain who has been with Marvel for a long time. He is George Tarleton, or also known as M.O.D.O.K. Now, let's start to watch and listen the history of big head villain. George Tarleton, or also known as M.O.D.O.K, was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, and first appeared in Tales of Suspense issue 93 in September 1967. So this big head guy has been in the comic universe for more than 50 years. George Tarleton was a skilled technician from Erie in Pennsylvania. He joined the radical scientific group A.I.M. and worked with them to create the Cosmic Cube, a device with infinite capabilities. In A.I.M., Lyle Getz, or also known as the Scientist Supreme, determined that they wanted a way to research the cube, so they created Project M.O.D.O.C, that stand for Mental Organism, designed only for computing, to analyze and evaluate the Cosmic Cube and to improve the organization's productivity in its technological activities, while also being subject to the higher levels of the organization. To the end, they mutagenically turned George into a super intelligent being that called M.O.D.O.K. His huge cranium was too much to sustain his weak body, so that they would be put in a hover chair called the Doomsday Chair. Unwisely, these scientists did not consider the theory that superior ability inevitably contributes to higher ambition. It didn't take long for him to turn on his former masters and topple A.I.M. In his own opinion, he adopted a new acronym for his title from M.O.D.O.C to M.O.D.O.K that stand for Mental Organism, designed only for killing, at this time when he was more of a merciless murderer than a bean counter. First appearance of him that came into conflict with Captain America when he came to rescue Sharon Carter from an A.I.M. M.O.D.O.K orders the two champions to be killed after they managed to get Cap's shield back. During the fight, Captain America is hit from behind from a paralyzer ray, and so Sharon Carter allows herself to be captured, telling them that shield knows about M.O.D.O.K. A.I.M then sends Sharon Carter down to M.O.D.O.K, while they find Captain America's immobilized body and prepare to execute him. He attempted to kill Captain with his mind bolts, but during his battle, A.I.M betrayed his leader and tried to free themselves. When they all tried to escape, M.O.D.O.K detonated the self-destruction, giving all of them only moments to free themselves from the explosion. Later, M.O.D.O.K was eventually discovered to be alive and well, and found that the Red Skull had stolen the Cosmic Cube and used it to swap minds with Captain America. He survived the explosion of the A.I.M submarine by building a mental force field surrounding him to protect himself from the blast, and used telepathy to call A.I.M scientists who were still faithful to him to rescue him from the ocean. M.O.D.O.K and A.I.M have exploited Captain America as part of the plan to steal Professor Fosgrave's most recent atomic equations for their own personal exploitation. Some A.I.M agents posing as students run into the school and attempt to kidnap Fosgrave, but Captain America was able to stop them in the end. Later, M.O.D.O.K sent two A.I.M assassins to attack Captain America. However, Captain America easily defeats them in battle. M.O.D.O.K is unimpressed with this recent failure. At A.I.M secret headquarters, he calls on one of his assassins to answer for his unsuccessful plan, and when the explanation is not good enough, M.O.D.O.K gives him two options: either suicide or becoming part of his cyborg project. The assassin chooses the project and will soon be transformed into a cybernetic creature cyborg. With the transformation a big success, M.O.D.O.K sends Cyborg to test its abilities. He sent him to test run to rob a bank. The cyborg easily defeats the security guard and smashes open the safe and steal money. The cyborg brings the stolen money back to M.O.D.O.K. He impressed by this test. But while the cyborg was doing the heist, the cyborg was monitored by Captain America's group. After that, when Sharon gets a radio call from whom she thinks is Nick Fury, that telling her where the cyborg is located. She's giving this detail to Captain America before she knows that Fury hasn't left headquarters. Realizing that she sent Captain to a pit, Sharon rushes out to help him. Sharon arrives first and confronted with the cyborg, who instantly subdues her. While Sharon was in that bad, Captain America returns a few minutes later. He attempts to battle the cyborg, but is slowed down due to the many traps that the house is rigged with. After a struggle, Captain America managed to defeat Cyborg by pulling a live electrical wire out of the wall and throwing it at the cyborg, so that making him short-circuit and destroying all of his mechanical parts. Later, after Bucky dead, M.O.D.O.K planned to defeat Captain America, so M.O.D.O.K and Dr. Doom cooperate together to create Bucky's android duplicate and send him to work alongside with Captain America. Captain America believes Bucky Barnes is back from the dead, until he discovers that is an android created by M.O.D.O.K. At the M.O.D.O.K control Bucky android to attack Captain America with the intention of killing him. While Captain America is defeated by Bucky and is about to be killed, but Bucky was stopped. Because the androids is programmed too well and embedded memories of Bucky's loyalty would not allow him to kill Captain America, that make it was short-circuited and broken at the end. After that failure, he ordered his A.I.M scientists to create a giant robot with high technology. He then sent Bulldozer, a giant robot, to destroy cities to lure Captain America and Falcon out to kill. Captain America use a device that created by Tony Stark to jamming signal that command from M.O.D.O.K. So, Bulldozer can't receive mind order from M.O.D.O.K, and being attacked and confused by Captain America and Falcon. As a result that make M.O.D.O.K is buried under debris caused by the Bulldozer. One day, Dr. Doom invite Namor the Submariner who is without his memories to Latverian and tricks Namor into becoming his ally to stealing the Cosmic Cube from A.I.M. Namor battles through the defenses of the A.I.M base only to face M.O.D.O.K and his hordes of androids. M.O.D.O.K order hordes of androids to attack Namor and catch him success. Dr. Doom is forced to confront M.O.D.O.K directly, during which they both faced each other. Namor managed to free himself and reach the Cosmic Cube, in which Dr. Doom side, he can defeat all of androids until only M.O.D.O.K got into a fight, but it turns out, that's just a hologram. While the real M.O.D.O.K is confronted with Namor and defeated by him. Later, Dr. Doom meets up with Namor, but Namor has secured the destruction of the Cosmic Cube. They both flee as the Cosmic Cube's explosion destroys the A.I.M base. One time, while Betty Ross was said that her husband Glenn passed away, which of this incident makes Betty has had another nervous breakdown. At the secret headquarters of A.I.M, M.O.D.O.K is informed of the situation by one of his spies that work at the airport. He decides to take advantage of the situation in order to take revenge against the Hulk. He created gigantic robotic and plots to use gamma radiation to create a creature more powerful than the Hulk. Meanwhile, Bruce Banner knows that Betty has had nervous breakdown from Jim Wilson and he suggests that they go and pay her a visit. When Bruce meets with Betty at the rest home, she lashes out at him screaming over and over how much she hates him. The ordeal gets Bruce worked up enough to change into the Hulk. The Hulk is about to strike Betty for hitting him when the doctors come in and tell him that he deserves for Betty to hit him. The Hulk then begins to think this is all his fault and smashes out of the hospital. But, one of the nurses is a spy working for A.I.M, and she reports back to M.O.D.O.K about what happened. While the Hulk is gone, M.O.D.O.K with giant robotic visits Betty and uses his mental powers to amplify her hate and orders her to kill the Hulk the next time she sees him. However, the Hulk returns and see him in hospital, so the Hulk immediately attacked M.O.D.O.K. That makes M.O.D.O.K returns to it in order to fight back. Even if, no matter what M.O.D.O.K tries to do to destroy the Hulk, the monster just breaks off more and more pieces of the armor until M.O.D.O.K flee from battle. However, he is satisfied because the next phase of his operation is ready to begin, which leads to what he hopes is the destruction of the Hulk. After M.O.D.O.K has fled, the police have arrived following and suddenly attack the Hulk, but he fending off the police and then charges off into the home to try and find Betty. However, Betty has stripped off all her clothing and wandered off the property in response to the mental beckoning of M.O.D.O.K. The Hulk finds Jim Wilson waiting for him in a truck to facilitate the Hulk's getaway. Meanwhile, Betty has been led to a giant rocket that is beckoning her to enter. When she does, it blasts off into the sky toward A.I.M headquarters. While at A.I.M headquarters, M.O.D.O.K puts Betty on a gamma ray machine that mutates her in the vicious gamma-spawned harpy. The harpy that complete with wings, talons for feet and able to fire rays of gamma radiation from her hands. M.O.D.O.K tracks the brute's location and sets her loose to kill him. She finds the Hulk wandering around downtown New York and attacks him. As the two fight, the Hulk ultimately gets the upper hand, but before he can land a knockout blow, the harpy reveals that she is really Betty Talbot. This distracts the Hulk long enough for her to fire a knockout blast of gamma radiation that knocks the Hulk out. Standing over the Hulk's unconscious body, she vows to destroy the Hulk once and for all. After the harpy has just defeated the Hulk, she grabs him and fly into the sky to take him to M.O.D.O.K. Meanwhile, General Ross watches the news coverage on TV. He rushes out to the scene of the battle. He recognizing the Harpy as his daughter Betty. When he confronts his daughter, he tries to talk her out of killing the Hulk. But the military sends out fighter jets to stop her. She shoots one out of the sky before she and the Hulk are swept up in a strange tornado that sweeps them into a giant cloud mass. They soon find themselves on some strange city hidden in the clouds. After the Hulk revives, they are confronted by a two-headed creature calling itself the Bi-Beast, and the battle has begun. The Harpy is easily knocked out with a single blow, but the Hulk proves to be more of a challenge. However, despite the fight the Hulk puts up, the thin air in the upper atmosphere is what does him in, and he collapses from lack of oxygen. So, that make the Hulk reverts back to Bruce Banner. When Banner revives, he explains to the Bi-Beast that he is a scientist, leading the creature to believe that destiny has brought him to the floating island. After Bruce explains, the Bi-Beast also explains that this island was created by the bird people and the Bi-Beast was created to be a living monument. They explain that the machines are starting to break down and they have no knowledge on how to repair them, and ask that Banner figure out how to fix them. And they also explain that they captured the Harpy because they yearned for the company of someone that resembled their creators. When Banner begins to consider a way to change Betty back to her human self, however, when he goes to get her, he finds that the Bi-Beast had put her in a cage. Bruce demands to have access to the Harpy, otherwise he will not work for them, and the creature agrees. Then they have sedating her and handing her over to him. Bruce then devises a machine to change her back to her human form. However, M.O.D.O.K can searching for the Harpy and he arrives and seeks to exploit the island. He tricks the Bi-Beast into believing that Bruce Banner is evil. That make the creature leads him to Banner and stops him from doing anything just as he activates the machine to change Betty back to normal. Then Bruce Banner turn into the Hulk and resume fighting the Bi-Beast. While M.O.D.O.K then betrays the Bi-Beast. When the Bi-Beast tries to fight back, M.O.D.O.K and his forces open fire on the creature and delivering a killing bombardment of ray blasts. In his last effort, Bi-Beast sets the island to self-destruct, sending M.O.D.O.K and his minions fleeing for their lives. On one occasion, M.O.D.O.K almost got married. The story is as follows. One day the Abomination brings Dr. Catherine Waynesboro, who is an associate of Bruce Banner, to an A.I.M facility in Maine. The A.I.M agents discover that Dr. Kate is an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. So, they decide to use her as the template for a new M.O.D.O.K unlike the previous M.O.D.O.K. Inside of the Hulk, he uses a gamma tracker and follows Kate and the Abomination's trail to Maine. Outside of the cliffside compound, he encounters M.O.D.O.K. The Hulk crashes into the compound, but it's too late. A.I.M agents place Dr. Kate inside of an alteration chamber, and when she emerges, she is a feminine version of M.O.D.O.K known as Ms. M.O.D.O.K. M.O.D.O.K pronounces the recreated Waynesboro as his new bride. They merge mental energies with one another in a bizarre display of shared intellect. However, M.O.D.O.K tried to disintegrate the Abomination before the eyes of his new bride. That make Ms. M.O.D.O.K is repulsed by M.O.D.O.K's cruelty and turns against him. The villain shoots the Hulk with a mental blast and fires another blast at Ms. M.O.D.O.K. The bride falls backward into the alteration chamber and reverts back into her human form of Dr. Catherine Waynesboro. Later, A.I.M was not happy with M.O.D.O.K's megalomaniacal and short-sighted leadership, and he was frequently ousted only to return to power again. Because M.O.D.O.K was so focused on his personal grudge with various superheroes that he ignored the scientific aspect of the organization and allowed it to become stagnant. The other A.I.M leaders eventually hired assassins to eliminate him. They are Serpent Society. First, they sent Bushmaster and Diamondback enter an A.I.M submarine, then they find and attack M.O.D.O.K, but he manages to escape. Diamondback is calling the Serpent Society for backup. As soon Sidewinder takes the squad to its position and orders them to begin looking for M.O.D.O.K. In the meantime, M.O.D.O.K is hiding in the back of a semi-truck. When the semi-truck arrives at a shopping mall, M.O.D.O.K kills two of the freight workers, then hides inside the building. As the Serpent Society learns about the killings, and heads towards the mall. Shortly after, Captain America finds Princess Python trying to defect from the team. She tells him the society was hired to kill M.O.D.O.K, then Cap evacuates the mall and fights the Serpent Society. However, he is too late to stop Death Adder from mauling and poisoning M.O.D.O.K. That make he dead. Later, A.I.M has been having trouble developing a new cosmic cube. A.I.M used a cosmic cube and sacrificed M.O.D.O.M to revive M.O.D.O.K from dead. Olenka Barenkova was transformed into M.O.D.O.M at A.I.M headquarters, same with M.O.D.O.K. After Revy, M.O.D.O.K was apparently as loyal as originally intended. A.I.M decide to resurrect M.O.D.O.K in order for him to repair the damage to reality that the uncontrollable cosmic cube had wrought. M.O.D.O.K first deactivated most of the local adaptoids and, when he analyzed the dimensional rift opened by the cube's unleashed energies, he decided to willingly go to the other dimension in a quest for power. For the breach at Boca Caliente was later sealed by the sacrifice of an adaptoid. A millennium ago, an immensely powerful demon called Orgo was defeated by ancient warriors and buried underground. A warrior possessed a gem that nowadays will enable humans to control the monster. At present, in this other dimension, M.O.D.O.K was overwhelmed and stranded. The headmen arrive in a city where they resurrected for their own purposes. The headman inadvertently recovered M.O.D.O.K with agreed to help them use Orgo to conquer the world. However, M.O.D.O.K took advantage of his sudden return and took hold of A.I.M again. But, after fighting with the defenders, M.O.D.O.K withheld the assistance of A.I.M, that make lest the organization suffer another setback. Later, M.O.D.O.K had been captured and subsequently turned over to Admiral Jimmy Westbrook, who is the Rouge Naval Intelligence Unit for study. Jimmy employed a lobotomized him and used him to tap spy satellites and manipulate stock markets. M.O.D.O.K regained consciousness and swapped his mind with the human Damocles Rivas, or also known as the Saint, a Colombian drug lord who was working with Jimmy to develop M.O.D.O.K virus, as well as developing the ability to convert his original form to data and send it around the world. His original body acting off old instincts. He murdered every A.I.M agent who had involved in his creation, while M.O.D.O.K himself battled Captain America, the Falcon and the Anti-Cap in a takeover attempt. He was finally trapped in stasis by interrupting a teleportation sequence and taken into S.H.I.E.L.D. custody. Later, M.O.D.O.K escaped custody and either expelled or subverted the personality of Damocles Rivas, and took command of an A.I.M research lab in India. There, he was attacked by Deadpool, who was searching for a sample of the phalanx. He was later defeated by Squirrel Girl when attempting to take over one of Maelstrom's old labs. Remember the process in which George Tarleton was converted into a mod by scientists supreme by a mutagenically process? Eventually, the process that turned Tarleton into M.O.D.O.K proved to be unstable. After many battle of him, his body began breaking down. M.O.D.O.K wanted a device called a GTAC sequencer to help stabilize his physiology, but it was being used in a series of shell games by Sean Madigan, another agent of A.I.M and Tarleton's discarded biological son. However, a faction within A.I.M wanted to overthrow M.O.D.O.K and commissioned Sean Madigan to make it happen. But, Madigan turned his employers and M.O.D.O.K against each other, and bringing in Ms. Marvel's Lightning Storm team and Monica Rapaxinis in another separate A.I.M faction. Eventually, Madigan affixed the GTAC sequencer to the weakened M.O.D.O.K, that turned him to living DNA bomb and dropped him in a major population center. But before serious things happened, Ms. Marvel flew M.O.D.O.K into space to safely detonate the bomb, leaving M.O.D.O.K lost in the explosion. Madigan got his wish, while A.I.M splits into more factions without his leadership during the initiative event. However, after that event, Monica Rapaxini killed Madigan and absorbed the M.O.D.O.K faction into her own and reunifying A.I.M. As for M.O.D.O.K, he escaped Ms. Marvel to the industrial Gowanus Heights section of Brooklyn, with left impoverished and isolated. M.O.D.O.K has come up with a new strategy to reclaim power, assembling a squad of current and former supervillains. He has invited Puma, Mentallo, Armadillo, Chameleon, Nightshade, Living Laser, Rocket Racer, and Spot to join with him. He was plotting to steal a power source called Hypernova. Able to be used as a power source or ultimate weapon, it belonged to the Infinicide, a race of naturally evolved M.O.D.O.K from the end of time. He repeatedly tried to focus on being designed only for computing, and had to struggle not to say killing instead. However, M.O.D.O.K's team was infiltrated by Rapaxini's Ultra Adaptoid and two of its members were working for other beings. But, M.O.D.O.K secretly took and replaced the Hypernova while it was being handed to the Spot via the Dark Dimension, by which he had kept one of Spot's portals around for this. He then sold the Hypernova to A.I.M for $1 billion and paid off his minions that remained loyal. It turned out the Hypernova was unstable away from the Infinicide, which M.O.D.O.K had known. and his plan all along had been to get Rapaxini to give him money for something that would destroy her and headquarter of A.I.M, although it bears to be seen whether this was the real hypernova and not another imitation. An actual hypernova explosion would completely destroy the entire solar system rather than just a single A.I.M base. So, it's that M.O.D.O.K now had a base and an army of minions once more. M.O.D.O.K was among the 9 criminal geniuses that Beast sought out to help him reverse the effects of M.O.D.O.K. As with many of the others, M.O.D.O.K rebuffed the Beast. Later, M.O.D.O.K is also a part of the intelligentsia and has played a part in creating the Red Hulk using both cosmic and gamma radiations. He teamed himself with the Leader, the Wizard, the Mad Thinker, the Red Ghost and Dr. Doom, a group of the smartest villains in the world, in a secret ploy for total and final annihilation of their enemies, namely the Hulk. They were responsible for capturing Reed Richards and Dr. Doom and have laid plans to capture the remaining 6 of the 8 smartest people on Earth. The plan is to absorb their knowledge and use it to their own advantage, afterward leaving the mindless husks to whatever the Wizard chooses to do with them. When the M.O.D.O.K and Intelligentsia used the cathexis ray generator, a device that could transform all the heroes and their personal army that called the A.I. Marines. Originally, the cathexis ray generator was designed by Doc Samson, for the A.I. Marines were a small army of soldiers infected with smaller doses of the gamma or cosmic radiation that transformed Red Hulk, effectively turning them into an army of Red Hulks themselves. Amadeus Cho was affected as well. Cho's mind expanded at certain level that he gained the ability to warp reality within a 10-foot radius. With the use of this power, Amadeus changed M.O.D.O.K back into George Tarleton again. Later, George Tarleton was taken into detention by the U.S. Army and was confined to the Death Valley Gamma base. He continued to attend treatment to heal the pain created by his actions as M.O.D.O.K, which he could scarcely remember. Unknown to everyone, the doomsday plans left behind by M.O.D.O.K actually serve as a distraction. The plans themselves are coordinated by a cluster of brains, cloned from M.O.D.O.K's own, who act as one non-sentient supercomputer. This cluster is destroyed by the Red Hulk and the doomsday plans are stopped. However, one of the cloned brains, rather than being utilized as an organic computer, is allowed to develop naturally and then uploaded with M.O.D.O.K's mind. This new M.O.D.O.K, who has the appearance, genius-level intelligence, and mental powers of the original M.O.D.O.K, but apparently none of his weaknesses. He calls himself M.O.D.O.K Superior and prepares to make his own mark on the world. During the Fear Itself storyline, M.O.D.O.K Superior reviews the attacks by Scatty and tells his followers that she is actually the Red Skull's daughter Sin, who has tapped into the powers of the Asgardians. He then views from his surveillance that the Red Hulk is fighting the Thing within the form of Angrier Breaker of Souls. When he learns that 01 and the Black Fog are also after the Red Hulk, M.O.D.O.K Superior plans to get to the Red Hulk first. M.O.D.O.K Superior prevents the Black Fog from killing the Red Hulk. M.O.D.O.K Superior becomes intangible to keep himself from getting attacked by Angrier. M.O.D.O.K Superior has his encounter with 01 and both of them declare a truce to help fight the soldiers of the Serpent. During that time, M.O.D.O.K Superior starts to develop a crush on 01. During the Iron Man 2020 story arc, the War Machine was about to be experimented on by some Deathlocks on Ling Ares when he is saved by someone. When the War Machine catches up to the rest of Force Works and gives them their equipment, they discover that his rescuer is M.O.D.O.K Superior. He states that he wants to add his brain power to Force Works as its newest member. It turns out that M.O.D.O.K Superior was the one behind the Deathlocks of Ling Ares and manipulated Force Works into taking out Ultimo's head so that he can take control of it and ultimately become Ulti-M.O.D.O.K. After the bearded Deathlock was beheaded by the US agent, the War Machine temporarily turned into a Deathlock to control the remaining Deathlocks into fighting Ulti-M.O.D.O.K. When Quake briefly opened a lava-filled chasm, Ulti-M.O.D.O.K fell into it, with the Deathlocks following him down into it as well.